Okay. All right, guys, welcome back dito sa ating CRM or CM, pero favorite ko GMRC. Kulang na lang letter G. Maghanap tayo ng letter G. No, ito, guys. In the previous episode, we discussed Bitcoin, digital currencies, balance of risk and risk appetite, which I think is a perfect segue for our discussion now. Chris, the reason why this is close to my heart is because I go all around the world. And I see a lot of Filipinos all around the world, but I see very few Filipino restaurants, Filipino businesses, right? And a part of me feels bad because my point is like with more than 10 million Filipino all around the world, you would have expected so many Filipino restaurants, because we see that with our other Asian brothers and sisters. How many Vietnamese, Korean, Chinese restaurants, supermarkets, so I felt na, perhaps there's a cultural thing we have to deal with here in terms of in terms of level of comfort with business, risk, and entrepreneurship. Can you tell us a little bit about that? And then we can go to Mark, because Mark is an entrepreneur compared to me. I mean, he's definitely an entrepreneur. Yeah.
Yeah, so I think the biggest problem kasi in the Philippines is that entrepreneurship is not really something that is prioritized in our education system. Kids are not taught how to be entrepreneurs, and hindi tayo nabibigyan ng mga magagandang role models at saka mga examples that people can emulate. But having said that, yung sa ibang bansa kasi, like for example, I grew up in Canada, no. Napansin ko, no, during summers, we have workshops that you can enroll in. So I enrolled in a workshop. It's an entrepreneurship workshop. And I was 16. I imagine mo, a 16-year-old, tapos sinabihan ka na, okay, kids, you guys group together into groups of 4. Come up with a business idea. Okay, paanong idea yan? We're gonna fund it. May ganon. And then, okay, go, try to sell it. Now, what does it explain na yung mga konsepto? Ganun? Walang ganon dito sa Pilipinas eh. That's the unfortunate thing, number 1. Number 2, confidence. Isang napansin ko sa Pilipinas, we lack confidence. Versus when you hear Americans, my God, they're so full of confidence. Medyo over the top. Pero that over the top...
Ubot ng air.
Oo. Pero alam mo, laking tulong yung nagkakaroon ka ng ganyang klaseng confidence sa kahit na nga hindi mo alam ginagawa mo, basta confident ka, you can kind of navigate through it. Sa atin naman, maraming magagaling na Pinoy. Ito napansin ko sa Pinoy. We have a lot of amazingly smart Filipinos. Programmers, engineers, computer scientists are very, very smart. And yet, kulang tayo sa entrepreneurship, and it's not because of the intelligence, it's the confidence.
The culture. Ikaw, Mark, bilang isang Filipino entrepreneur, I mean, what is your understanding on this?
Oo nga kulang pa rin talaga when it comes to schools. Yung mga students kulang sa financial education, kaya pag-graduate, 'di ba? Walang alam masyado pagdating sa pera, pagdating in taking care of their money, in using credit cards, in pagdating sa mga utang, in starting a business. And nandun pa rin yung mindset na na to become an employee first. Look for a stable job. So many years na, so many ang daming mga moves na like yung Go Negosyo and yung mga iba pang mga campaigns to promote entrepreneurship. Pero parang kulang pa rin yung tama, sinabi yung confidence ng ordinary Pinoy to start a business. Pero I think ang malaking factor din ngayon sa social media, like yung pagdating sa TikTok, yung mga entrepreneurs na they're documenting yung negosyo nila, and I think it also helps them in developing that culture sa mga Pinoys, in trying to develop more entrepreneurs and more. Ako naman sa experience ko, it comes from my dad. Yung at an early age, yung dad ko started his own business. So tapos ngayon 30 years na yung company, and okay naman. So doon ko natutunan yung every aspect of starting a business and pero for other Pinoys na walang exposure na ganun, talagang mahirap for them na matanggal yung takot and yung mindset na compared sa mga ang magandang tingnan din yung mga Chinoys, mga Filipino Chinese, at an early age they are trained to take over their business. Di ba, bata pa lang pinagtutulong sila sa warehouse, sila yung magtitinda.
I mean, again, maybe Chris can say more on that, because there's an existing infrastructure already, right? Unlike, let's say an average Pinoy middle class, you have to really start from scratch. So where do you get that? I mean, Chris, what is your take on that? But before we go there, I just want to say something, because Chris, you said something very interesting about, confidence and culture of entrepreneurship. There was this very interesting book by Amy Chua, no, and Jed Rubenfeld, no, the triple package, looking at the successful minorities in America, for instance, the Chinese Americans, Indian Americans, Iranian Americans, Cuban Americans, Vietnamese American, and Nigerian Americans. And he said, but it's a combination of superiority complex, inferiority complex, like they have to prove something, and at the same time, yung ability to delayed gratification, right? Because if your mindset is you want to make an investment now, you want to be billionaire, get the Ferrari next year, you're really going to get into Ponzi schemes, or you're never going to succeed. Because really being a good businessman is delayed gratification, go for the long haul. And of course, you have to that kind of that mindset that kaya mo yan, that we can do it as good as any other group. Yeah. So that was her study of minorities, successful minorities, 6 different minorities in the case of United States. I mean, for me, it makes sense in some ways. I don't always agree with Amy Chua, and of course, Amy Chua's mom is from Philippines and UST. Chinoy din yung mom niya. So I'm just saying, But ikaw, Chris, like, what is your take on yung sinasabi ni Marc dyan?
Actually, if you look at the biggest entrepreneurs or the most successful ones, hindi sila galing sa mga political, sorry, politics pa rin, no? Hindi sila galing sa mga billionaires na Chinoys. Most of the ones that really make it actually started off middle class or even lower middle class. Look at Henry C. Henry C. did not start off rich. Look at the Gokongweis. John Gokongwei didn't start off rich. And then their kids though are very, very smart and have been trained well, but the legacy was already from the parents, diba? But the ones that really make it big now are the ones that really have a pain in yung meron silang hugot. Kung wala ka nun, maraming mga mayayaman dyan, they'll never make it big. They're already just sustaining the lifestyle they have. They're basically just inheriting the money, and it's generational wealth. Ganun na lang yun. Now, I'll give you an example. When you talk about entrepreneurship, I realize that nowadays, mas maraming opportunities for entrepreneurs. I'm talking about, nabanggit nga ni Marc, yung TikTok, for example. I am so fascinated with this affiliate program of TikTok and how it opened up entrepreneurship for people, that you've got this TikToker, si Rosemar Tan. Diba? Now, one of the biggest TikTokers, and she was bragging on Corina Sanchez's show that she made at a height of her business at 13 million a day.
She's a good friend, si Rosemar.
Yeah,
Hi, Rosemar.
Alam mo sa akin, I am grateful to see, and I'm so happy to see mga entrepreneurs on TikTok that are making it big and doing their thing. What's the name of that guy? Yung the guy yung palaging galit na may hawak na umbrella na sumikat dahil doon, tapos he made a killing because of that. Do you know him, Marc?
Yeah, yung parang guy na hinahampas lang yung ano-anong mga...
Yeah, ang galing niya. And he's just always angry at everything.
Alam mo si Mekos.
Yeah, but alam mo he sells millions. So when I see this, it fascinates me, and I think a lot of people are now learning to be entrepreneurs. The Axie Infinity thing, I think, taught a lot of people to be entrepreneurs as well, to be entrepreneurs. So meron namang mga opportunities. Kaya lang nagpipigil sa tao talaga sometimes is pera. Tingin nila kailangan ng pera para maging entrepreneur, which is a fallacy.
Even the top influencers, when you reach a certain level na of fame, ang next move na is to start a business So yun na nagiging trend na parang like, for example, sila Kong TV.
Oh yeah.
Yung wife niya si V, di ba? They started as one of the top YouTubers. Pero ngayon, how many businesses do they have? Di ba? Ang dami nilang mga negosyo, mga events. And
si
yun yung
ginagaya ng mga ibang... yung mga products. Si Willie
pero not so much sa sariling business si Doc Willie Pero yun nga, yung the types of like Rosmar. Si Rosmar, I saw her back mga 6 years ago. Meron lang siyang small restaurant. Tapos she just wanted to be famous online. Tapos she got into TikTok, sumikat siya doon. Siya na yung pinakasikat sa TikTok nung pumasok yung mga affiliate program. Kaya she was able to capitalize, and ngayon sobrang yaman na nitong si Rosmar. Marami yung mga ganong mga cases nga, and now it's the best time talaga. Kumpara nung when we were younger, di ba? Wala naman yung mga ganyang opportunities masyado for us. You have to go to the corporate ladder. You have to unlike now, di ba, you're a student,
Yep.
you're a fresh graduate, ang daming mga opportunities to earn. You just have to kailangan lang really pag-aralan and work
Yeah.
hard on it.
Yeah, dagdag ko na rin, Mark and Richard, na alam mo, like, I understand there are a lot of people that are probably watching this that are working for a company. Alam mo, I want to emphasize this. When you talk about entrepreneurship, hindi lang naman yan ibig sabihin magsastart ka ng sarili mong negosyo. You can be an entrepreneur at work. And being an entrepreneur is a mindset na kahit na for example, nagtatrabaho ka, okay, nagtatrabaho ka lang 9 to 5, and let's say you're a call center agent. Okay, you can be an entrepreneur as a call center agent. Do the best work you can. Give the best service because your employer is your one and only customer. Na kailangan masaya yung customer. You gotta do everything you can to make that customer happy. That's how you learn the entrepreneur mindset. Now, after nakuha mo na yung isang customer, alam mo na how to make the customer happy, and you know how to get the customer, you can apply that same mindset when you decide, okay, I want to get more than just one customer. Now I want to get 4 or 5 or 6 or 10. And then, ayan na, being a consultant, that's an entrepreneurship, or moving past that. And instead of selling services, you can also sell your products. So yun yung entrepreneurial mindset that people forget that you need to develop. And ang maganda sa having a job before you become an entrepreneur is this: you learn discipline. Dahil ang pinakamahirap na parte ng pagiging entrepreneur is yung disiplina, na araw-araw papasok ka sa trabaho mo, na negosyo mo. Na kasi pag entrepreneur ka, hindi to 9 to 5. Inuuwi mo yung sakit ng ulo mo.
24/7
This is
talaga.
7 days a week, 24/7. You think being an employee is hard? Being an entrepreneur is a lot harder. So it starts with that.
And last point siguro, Mark and Chris, like, what is your advice for, I mean, first of all, bakit kailangan mag-entrepreneur ng tao aside from being their own boss? Masarap maging sariling boss or walang ibang boss. And what is your advice? First Mark and then siguro Chris.
Ako lang, take advantage ng every online tool, every lahat ng social media apps available to you now. Kasi ang laki ng opportunity Kung saang industry ka man, kung ano yung interest mo, yun yung try mong pasukin, pero ang napakaraming opportunity ngayon. Yun nga, it's like sa TikTok, ako sa YouTube and sa Facebook, yun yung inaral ko. Pero yun, like sa TikTok, there's still so much to learn and so much skill to gain. So wag na lang sayangin yung chance na yun kasi ang laki talaga ng ang laki talaga ng opportunity pa to promote, to grow, to start your own business at any age.
Yeah. Thank you for that, Mark.
Okay. For me, for all the budding entrepreneurs out there, yung mga gusto mag-umpisa na negosyo, ang una kong advice bibigay sa inyo, stop talking about it and just start doing it. Don't, like a lot of people talk too much, they don't do enough. Okay, number 1. Number 2, discipline is so important. Alam mo, yung commitment to get the job done, to get the work done, you need to have that discipline. You need to develop that. That's why for me, if you're an employee now, it's okay. You have to develop that discipline. And then kung disiplinado ka na, kaya mo nang i-disiplina sarili mo, then it's time that you can become an entrepreneur. It's not just about the idea. It's about the commitment to make sure that the idea comes to fruition. I'll also add, that, alam mo, I'm so impressed with the QC government. Kasi recently, I met with them because my girlfriend joined the Startup QC program. Ito yung entrepreneurship program ng Quezon City. And you know what they do? They give 1 million pesos for startup businesses. Walang limit yan. It could be 5, 10, whatever. It doesn't matter. Pag meron sila nakita mga businesses na mukhang okay, they will give you a grant. They don't want shares. They'll just give you 1 million pesos to be able to start your business. Ang galing nung programa
Venture
nila.
capital is that's a good new thing. I mean, Mark correctly pointed out, make the best use of new platforms that businessmen didn't have in the past. And thank you, Chris, for mentioning. I didn't know that we have this startup policy also here. And I think that's a perfect segue to our next episode because we're going to talk about policy and governance and how things should move forward. And of course, yung favorite ni Mark, medyo showbiz. Pag-usapan natin yan. Thank you very much, gentlemen. Our businessmen in the house. Thank you for your fantastic interventions.